Hey, it's Tina. I help experts turn their IP into certification and licensing programs. And today I want to share with you the three biggest mistakes I see people make with their certification or licensing programs. Mistake number one is letting anyone come into the program just because they want to be there, right? And this is an interesting one because, of course, in the world of business, we want to sell. We want people to enroll in our programs. We want people to purchase from us. And a lot of what we sell out there is just, hey, do you want this thing? Yes, I want it. Great. Come on in. But when we do this with certification, this is where we can get ourselves in trouble because, frankly, not everybody is going to be a good fit for your certification or licensing program. There can be a lot of issues. A lot of times when I'm working with clients to help them fix some of the issues in their programs, it can come back to this concept of, hey, you know what? You were letting people into this program that frankly should not have been there. They didn't have the prerequisites. They didn't have the aptitudes. They weren't the right fit to come into your program and come out the other end and be successful with it. I like to say that their success is your success. So if people are coming out the other end of your program and they're not being successful, that's a problem, right? And a lot of times that can boil down to the fact of, hey, we didn't let the right people in to begin with. And it might sound funny to say, but one of the challenges of certification is you may have more people interested in your certification who actually aren't a good fit for it, right? You can't just let anybody in. We want to be really particular, picky, if you will, about who is the right fit to come into your certification program so that they can be successful with it as well. So that successful student profile, being picky, a really, really important thing. One of the second mistakes that I'll see people make is, frankly, their training, the structure of their training and how they're delivering their training is not effective for adult learning best practices. I lovingly like to say a pre-recorded video and a Q&A call does not a certification program make. I mean, frankly, that's not good for any type of learning. If you want people to actually integrate and learn from you, that's not a good structure for learning. But in particular with certification, they need to come out the other end having truly integrated and experienced and having gotten, if you will, what it is that you're teaching and training them to do. And they need to feel confident and ready coming out the other end with what they're learning. If all that you're giving them is a couple of, is a series of training videos and having some Q&A calls here and there, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but that is not going to work. That is not going to work. It's not going to be successful over time. And believe me, been there, done that. I've experienced this in the life cycle of my business too, realizing like, oh, wait a minute, this is not a really effective way to train people, to prepare them, to get them ready. You want to have your program built around adult learning best practices. You want, when you structure it that way too, people come out the other end feeling really ready and empowered to go out and do great work. And of course, then they're going to represent you and your brand and your framework in the best way possible. The third biggest mistake I see people make with certification is being a little, making it up on the fly as they go with it. And again, believe me, I get it. I am a very visionary person. I'm one of those like, hey, I came up with an idea. Let's throw it out there. Let's see what happens. What do people think? Respectfully, that is not the best way to put a certification program together. There's a lot of facets to certification. There's a lot of really key and important decisions that you want to make upfront before you run that training, the program the first time, before you certify that very first person. If you aren't doing this upfront, you could inadvertently end up creating something that gets out of hand, right? You could be making promises that ultimately aren't a good fit for you and your business and your brand. You could be leaving things really open and loosey-goosey, and people are coming in thinking they can do anything they want with your materials and all of that. So you want to be really purposeful and strategic with your certification program. This is not one to just wake up one day and say, hey, I think I want to throw a certification program out there. Let me go ahead and do that and see what happens. Again, I've had to help a few clients fix some of the messes that they've created when they've done it that way. And I get it, because I really am that person too, right? To be like, woohoo, let's just put this out there and see what happens. Please, please don't do that. And a little bit of a bonus mistake I'll give you too, which actually ties into this last one, is do not run your certification program without having crystal clear agreements in place for your students. If you are not having people sign a certification agreement up front that clearly outlines everything that gets decided in this planning process and the strategy of developing your program, that again is a problem too, because without signed agreements, you don't have any recourse. If people may take and use and do things with your, or misrepresent you or whatever that might be. So consider that one a bit of a bonus mistake, if you will. We want to make sure that you have solid agreements in place as well before you invite your very first student into the door, quite frankly. So hopefully these things are helpful for you. If you are curious about creating a certification, wondering if it's the right fit for you, go ahead and take the Ready, Set, Certify quiz. You'll see the link here with this video. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye now.